Hey guys, it's Mr. Possible, and man, I can't wait to shave. I only have 12 more days before I complete 75 hard, and then I can cut this down. Um, so I'm here to tell you anything is possible. Had a great weekend with poker. Just fantastic. I did the things that I needed to do. I'm here to tell you today about a very tough topic for me to talk about, but I think it's going to help a lot of people. So I have a confession. I harbor a lot of resentment towards my ex-wife. I was married for 5 years. I've been divorced for 8 years, and I have a lot of anger for perceived wrongs that I've had. And I kind of touched on this briefly a little while back, that I was going to embark on a huge project. And this is that huge project. The project is how to forgive someone of, a lot of pain and suffering that I've went through. And so I've started to do that. I began thinking about this when I read Phil Hummey's #positivity book, where he said you got to let go of the hate, you got to let go of the anger. And I had already begun some of it myself, and now I'm reading Kiss That Frog, and it's really hitting home. I like this thing of where the law of attraction, when you're trying to focus on something in your life, it just keeps coming up everywhere. And so it's definitely coming up in Kiss That Frog. So first of all, how do I do this? What's the secret to giving up? And I want you guys to be there for this journey with me. There's a lot of history here. I've talked about in my marriage how I was very authoritative. I've talked about how I've grown as a person, and I think above all is the protection of my children. That's probably the thing that affects me the most, is the things that happen to my children, the things that my children tell me. Being unable to really depend on the adult in the situation and have to listen to the children puts me in a very awkward spot. But all of that said, the way, and I was reading this in Kiss That Frog, and if you haven't checked out that book, check out that book by Brian Tracy and Christina Tracy Stein. It's fantastic. Definitely the best book that I've read so far on 75 Hard. But the way that the book says to do it is, if you put this thought of I am responsible in your head instead of negative emotions, it's impossible to be negative. So the fact is, I am responsible. I'm responsible for the decisions that I made in getting into the relationship. I am responsible in the people that I chose to be around. I'm responsible for the way I conducted myself in the relationship. I'm responsible for emotionally lowering myself and being very emotional. I'm responsible for not being engaged. I'm responsible for not being an engaged father, which is okay, because when I got out of the divorce, I decided to be an engaged father and adopt conscious discipline. I'm responsible for the way that I reacted emotionally, getting angry about it. I'm responsible for blaming my ex-wife for everything. I mean, anything, judging her, rationalizing that because her behavior was such a way that I could respond in kind. So I'm responsible for all of those things. And it's time to let it go, guys. I mean, it's been 8 years. I've met the love of my life. I just can't explain to you how important she is to me, how much of a partner she is to me. Just an amazing woman that I will marry in September. And it's just time to let it go. And I understand there are still situations that affect my children. I'm still going to speak the truth. In fact, that's another thing that I have been doing recently, is speaking the truth. And this mountain, to me, definitely from outside, seemed impossible to climb. But as I take bite-sized chunks out of it, the first one about the taxes and turning midstream, and even though I said some really, really harsh truths in accepting that, she was going to claim no on the taxes, I really did feel relieved of this burden that I was carrying. So maybe refining that approach, as I often do, looking back and saying, okay, well, maybe you could have handled that differently. But, it doesn't seem so impossible anymore. I'm looking at the top of the mountain, and, the true thing is, I know that I call myself Mr. Possible. I know that all things are possible. But the one thing that's not possible is to change a person's free will. You just can't do it. So we will call that the impossible. This is not the impossible. Because I am changing how I respond to the situation. I am taking responsibility for how I respond. I'm taking responsibility for my actions in it. So that's the first step, is taking responsibility and then letting it go. And it's going to be a challenge, but I am going to get through it. Like I was saying, my beautiful wife-to-be has just been an amazing partner in my life. In fact, if you had asked me a year or 2 years ago if I ever thought I would get married again, the simple answer would be no. And to be honest, I'm not a person who gets married because of the societal reason to get married. It certainly isn't about joining finances or any of that other stuff. The reason I get married is because it makes rational sense to marry this person, to be seen as one. And I love her, without question. It is an amazing relationship. We went through 75 hard together. We were just discussing it today. It's just we've been through ups and downs, and I just, I can't imagine a better partner in my life. With that being said, it's time to move on from the negativity. Now, like I said, there's still situations that might be unsafe, or that I might need to, speak the truth. And I will continue to speak the truth. I will continue to not evade, but rather to confront and be truthful about what is going on. But at the same time, I'm going to stop casting blame. I am responsible. I'm responsible for how I act. I'm responsible for the court battle that we are going through, and how that has, escalated. I'm responsible for a lot of that. I'm responsible for attacking back. I'm responsible for just judging and all of those things. The ideal situation for me would be if we could work an equitable and a fair arrangement where the kids had, the ability to thrive and sustain their lives and not have to deal with the parents bickering or, the relationships. I think counseling would be really good. The relationships with the children, just the truth comes out because neither one of us trusts each other. So if we don't trust them, then we would have to hear this through the children, maybe in a counseling environment or whatever. So that's it. I'm taking steps towards that. And I want you to be there on the journey because I know it's going to be a challenging journey. And how I feel, how I'm letting it may not be reciprocated. Again, you can't control free will. So this helps you on your road to positive. Like especially right now, if you're watching this and you're going through a divorce or, something of that nature, or you're walking away from a job or something where you have been wrong for so many years, or you feel a perceived wrong, that's holding you back. I realize that now after reading, Eat That Frog. That's holding me back. That is holding me back from my full potential. This obsession with the negative emotions, the reinforcing of negative emotions towards my ex-wife and towards the things that have transpired, it's holding me back from rising to that level of who I want to be, and enjoying my life. So I just wanted to share this with you. It's a very personal, it's a very personal experience that I'm sharing with you. And I will be doing some videos on this, how I'm dealing with this. Yesterday, I did have a conversation with my ex-wife where I attempted to do some of this, but it didn't come out exactly right. It was hard for me not to blame her or justify anger towards her. And as I read more and more into Eat That Frog, I think I will learn more and more about how to do that. For one, I'm responsible for my actions. I'm responsible for how I conduct myself. I'm responsible, for handling the situation. So also with that, so I'm gonna give up that that intense anger, that intense hurt, and that obviously I'm not going to give up the feeling of protecting my children, but I'm going to give that up. And at the same time, I'm not going to attach myself to outcomes, because the reality is the outcome, I'm going to always expect the worst. That's just what I learned to do, and accept the responsibility when it does, if that comes to fruition. So again, if you're going through a hard divorce and, you really, really don't like this person, I would just really encourage you to read Eat That Frog. The first couple chapters for sure cover this, relieving this hate, giving up the hate, the anger, which only hurts you. It doesn't hurt them. It only hurts you. So, hey guys, this is Mr. Possible, and I am taking on what I believe to be the hardest task yet. And again, legally blind, could drive, can drive, did drive, didn't graduate from college, dropped out of college when I was in my 20s, graduated from college in 6 months and 24 days, to get all of my credits, by the way, not just some of my credits. Couldn't find, the right person in my life or learn about relationships and how to conduct myself and, about socializing, speaking, check. Elevating my career from the position that I was in to where I am now, check. Buying a house, check, twice. Eventually getting a six-pack, that's coming. I'm working out, that feels great. And a whole bunch of other things, all of those things, conscious discipline, raising my own children, really hard. But I still think that even with conscious discipline, raising my two children, accepting that, free will is impossible, all of those things, this will be the hardest challenge yet. So I will update you periodically about this challenge. It's going to be very challenging, but I look forward to it. I really do. I want to move on. I want to experience joy in my life. And I wish the same for you. Guys, again, this is Mr. Possible. I will be a professional poker player in 4 1/3 years. Let's go with that, because it's not half a year anymore. I think it's more like 1/3 now. And that's what I want to do with my life. I will be married in September, and the possible name is coming. Oh, one more update on that. Actually, let me save that for the next video. Maybe I'll do another video today since I didn't do one yesterday. But yeah, the possible name is coming. It's coming. Anyway, guys, like, subscribe, and share this video. And if you have comments, comment away. I would love to answer questions, or, even if you don't agree with me, that's fine. I think disagreement, is a good thing. It builds, it helps you to learn and to grow. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Talk to you soon.